The Broken Blueprint, Part 3. Magan Intensifies the Push. Magan elected to CME Presidency. Percy T. Magan, who had been elected Dean of CME in 1915, was elected President of CME on March 18, 1928 at the Loma constituency meeting. Forewarned of what was coming, he penned a note to the chairman the night before, absolutely refusing the position. The next morning he called the chairman out of its session to hand him the letter, but he was elected anyway. Magan Diary Entries, March 18 to 19, 1928. 4 months earlier, Percy Magan had turned 60. Ironically, 10 days earlier, he had pled to be released entirely from all administrative positions. I do ask to be relieved at this coming meeting from the position I have held for so long as Dean and Principal Accreditation Promoter, and I ask this without any reference or proviso as to the matter of title. Magan to W.T. Knox, March 8, 1928. Not only had he been the primary fundraiser for the ever-increasing spiral of accreditation costs, but by the 1920s, he was the leading figure urging the accreditation of other Adventist colleges so they could send approved students to Loma for training. It was his almost single-handed prodding that resulted in the demands placed before the 1928, 1931, and 1935 meetings for accreditation of colleges and certification of degreed teachers. If the Irish educator had not continued to dramatize the seriousness of the issue of accreditation, the colleges might have operated indefinitely in a mediocre status. As far back as 1920, Dr. Colwell had warned the trustees that the medical school should draw its students from colleges whose pre-medical course was recognized by accrediting boards such as the North Central Association of Colleges and Secondary Schools, or the standing of its graduates would be jeopardized. Dr. Percy carried on a voluminous correspondence with the denomination's college presidents, and he sought the cooperation of AMA officials. Eventually, though with misgivings on the part of some churchmen, the colleges obtained the junior college accrediting, which eased the situation. It was not long, however, before some of the institutions decided to withdraw from the accrediting association, and it was necessary for Dean Magan to warn the boards of these colleges that such a backward step would bar their students from CME. If a state of emergency developed, the medical school might find it necessary to itself offer the pre-medical course, although such a proposition was not looked upon with favor. Merling Neff, For God and CME, pages 245 to 246. The above letter is very revealing, and told us this: the AMA warning that all our colleges must obtain accreditation started in 1920. At first, all that CME medical graduates would lose by not having their undergraduate work taken in an accredited college would be their standing. That is, their ability to take state board exams and later obtain high-paying positions in medical institutions. It would not affect whether CME could accept them as students. Medical graduates did not need standing in order to go overseas as missionary physicians. Due to Magan's continual prodding, the colleges obtained the junior college accreditation. Only the first 2 years that their institutions were accredited, since, back then, CME accepted students who had only taken a 2-year undergraduate pre-medical course. But, rather quickly, having found that the agency chains were continually tightening around them, some of the colleges wanted to cancel their accreditation and return to freedom. CME countered that by declaring that if the schools were not accredited, their graduates would be totally barred from entrance and CME would start training its own undergraduates. 1928. Board of Regents formed. By the time the 1928 Autumn Council convened, another crisis had arrived. Magan warned the assembled leaders that dire results would follow if all our colleges did not obtain accreditation. so it was voted to start the Seventh-day Adventist Board of Regents, headquartered at the General Conference. Magan explained it. At this meeting, after hours of good discussion, it was definitely decided that an SDA Board of Regents should be created to take up and push along the matter of securing proper accrediting for all our schools where the same would appear necessary. Magan to Newton Evans, August 8, 1928. Heretofore, only 2-year accrediting had been urged, but by 1928, Magan was urging the colleges to go beyond the 2-year accreditation and obtain senior 4-year accreditation. In 1928, denominational senior college accreditation became a major issue, and the battle waged between those who considered such recognition unnecessary and worldly, and those who realized that Christian education should reach the highest standard as defined by the world. The college presidents placed the accreditation issue before the Autumn Council, but, as Dr. Magan described it, the issue was fought lock, stock, barrel, horse, foot, artillery. The CME administrators pointed to the rising standards in medicine, teaching, and other professions. Was it too much to ask Christian institutions to meet more rigid requirements? Merlin Neff, For God and CME, page 246. But our denominational Board of Regents did not effectively push along as quickly as Magan wanted. Strong words in 1930. In the midst of this boiling pot of argumentation over accreditation, in the fall of 1930, one of our college presidents wrote this. A leader in the educational world wrote to one of our educators as follows. Why do you seek affiliation with that very fine system of yours? In seeking affiliation with us, you will destroy your objective. We know why you want to do this. It is because of your pre-medical work. Why don't you find a way out? All the other schools do. The president of a large university asked one of our college presidents some years ago, why do you seek recognition? With your denominational program, you are absolutely free to teach what you like. We are the people that are bound. Still, another of our colleges was told that it would be a good thing if denominational colleges would mind their own business and not try to become affiliated with any other school, and that if they did so, seeking accreditation, it would mean sacrificing principle, but this will thwart their purpose. H. Hamilton, president of Washington Missionary College, now Columbia Union College, in Review, October 9, 1930. In the previous issue of the Review, Elder F. M. Wilcox, review editor from 1911 to 1944, reprinted the following statement. It was a part of a letter Ellen White wrote to George A. Irwin when he was about to become chairman of the CME board in 1908. She wrote him that the Madison School was an example of what should be done at Loma Linda. Madison speaks for itself and tells what might have been accomplished at Battle Creek. Our schools should have little to say now of degrees and of long courses of study. The work of preparation for the service of God is to be done speedily. Let the work be carried forward in strictly Bible lines. Let every soul remember that the judgments of God are in the land. Let degrees be little spoken of. Let the meeting houses that are needed in our cities be plain and simple, and erected without expense. Let time and means be wisely invested. E.G.W., December 23, 1908, reprinted in Review, October 2, 1930.